Scrappy friends, welcome to my channel today. I am participating in a fun little hop that we have going on today called Just a Girl. So we are all scrapping things that are things that we love and that we really feel like we just have to have. Or we need, or we want, or we're known for needing or wanting these things. So I had a really hard time with this because coffee is also very much at the very top of this list of things. But in the end, I decided to go with this picture that I took when Megan was here of a cupcake and wine because it is a very known fact in my home that nighttime comes and I just am in the mood for a cake or cupcakes. And I love cupcakes. And so I love making cupcakes. This is not a cupcake I made, but when Megan came, we went to a local cupcake shop and we got custom cupcakes because, well, I say custom. They make really fun flavors and stuff. So, and, of course we paired it with a glass of white wine. And so, and very often, especially like on the weekend, I'll, have a glass of wine and just enjoy my evening. So yeah. I did decide to use an 8.5 by 11 cardstock for this. So at this point, I'm just kind of trying to decide what papers I want to go on my background for this. I was thinking at first that I might use that heart paper, and then I'm going to decide not to, but I do want to use this really fun stripe from Pink Paisley. It is super fun and it's really bold and I love it, but I thought it might be kind of fun to pair it with something black and white. So I did think about using the other side with the pink, but I really just like this combo of black and white, something bold, but then also having that bold stripe. So now I'm gonna kind of draw lines and stuff for where I want these papers to go because I was afraid I was going to forget where I had them. And I really like this like crazy angle edge going on. So I am going to cut this. Of course, I'm going to mess it up because why would I get it right even though I made lines so that I would get it right? And I'm keeping that in there because I think everyone should know that it's okay, you just pick yourself up and try it again and fix it. So thankfully I had a whole sheet of the striped paper, so I am gonna kind of cut the edge off a little bit on that because that I didn't get it straight, and that's okay. And I did try to, when I put the lines and marks on my paper, that I put them mostly in areas that I was going to cover back up. So I tried not to get it completely to right where my papers were the edges of the papers were, because I didn't want that dark color to show up. And so this is where I start realizing this does not look like the size. And I realized that I had it hanging off the edge more. So I'm like, wait, there's still... So I'm like, yeah, I gotta cut this. Don't we all do this though? You want it to be perfect. And I'm like, wait. So I'm still trying to figure out, I'm like, wow. I'm like trying to figure out. And then that's when I realized that, oh, yeah. And there was no way that I could just cut a little bit more of that. So I am going to have to do it this way. Which doesn't really have the stripes in the colors the same way. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this and make sure that I get it right. So I am actually just going to do what I should have did in the very beginning and just, glue it on the way that I wanted and then cut it off. So I still have quite a bit of that paper. I'm not sure how I'll use it. I would have had more and been able to use it differently. So I did print this photo off at 4x6. It looks really nice in a 4x6, but I am not going to keep this 4x6. I just feel like it takes up a lot of space. But for right now, I'm just going to go with this. I'm going to use this paper from Paige Evans. It's a nice pink. It matches my frosting. And then you won't see the lines from that striped paper through the background, because this is a picture I print at home. And a lot of times I'll get a little bit thinner of the picture paper. It depends, but this one was a little bit thinner, which is fine. So now I'm working on doing some layers, because I knew I wanted a little bit of layers, and I did struggle with this a smidge because I wanted to be able to have layers, but I knew that I didn't have a lot of space in that small little area where I'm gonna put my photo. And I really want to see all these lines and all that stuff. So yeah. So I'm going to cut some stuff up, and then I'm going to change my mind. Like, I do put this on here and then I take it off. So I just stick with the blue and the teal greens. And then not that that looks bad. It just, I don't know. It was a little bit too much. And I am going to fix my photo so it's not so crooked. But this is just where I'm like, no, I don't know. It's like just hanging off too much. And so I really wanted to keep the layers tight. And I could have used like more ephemera pieces behind it that kept it really neat and just in little tucks. And I could have did that. But really, it's so easy to go overboard when you're doing this. So I decide, well, I can still layer, but layer other places. So I'm going to layer some stuff off of this black and white paper. And I really like how it turned out. It was a different way to layer. And I did decide to use the back side of the one paper, that pink paper, and on the one side, on the bottom. So, and I will say I do end up covering up a little bit of that bottom layer cluster thing that I have. I don't know. What do you call it? The layer cluster. And then I do put a little bit of stuff hanging off on that side on the stripe. I do have a little bit over there. I thought about putting that there because up at the top, I did have a little bit of a black speck. And so I'm just going to kind of look around for something to put up there to cover it. I mean, you probably wouldn't have noticed. No one would have noticed it. I feel like those are the things that you notice, but no one else, like your family, is not going to notice, but you know. So I am going to start this by using that straight edge for part of my title that says Just a Girl. I did think about starting it being I'm Just a Girl, but I decided not to do that because I didn't want to use too many letter stickers. Anyway, you know. And I do make this next line a little bit more wonky. So I really like that straightness of Just a Girl and then Who Needs. And then I'm going to put Wine and Cupcake down at the bottom, like near my... Now, I did use that alpha up at the top, and later on, I'm going to come back to this once I put Cupcake down. Right now I'm kind of looking for some stuff that I'm thinking about layering, and I'm also looking for an ampersand. I could have swore I had like a die cut or something or a sticker that had one, and I probably did somewhere, but I found something in my stash because, you know. I also found this, and this has a different color metallic than that wine Alpha from Magical Park. That's more of like a copper brass color. But in that pack, there was a thing with a cupcake that says sweet treat or something like that. And so I'm going to use that. And I really like the color. The color of that cupcake really matches really well with some of the colors. And so you can see me playing around with that little die cut because I don't want the blue part. It doesn't match. So this is where I put that, and of course my head's in the way. I did move the alphas a little bit so that I could put them back on there. And I find this heart that matches the colors of my layers. So we're gonna use those, but it's not gonna stay there. So this is where I find the ampersand in a minute. I come back. So, you have something and you got to go look for it. That's me. And now that my room is super big, all my stuff is sprawled out in multiple places, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, except for when I'm looking for something specific. It takes me a lot longer to find because everything isn't right close next to me like it used to be. But that's okay. I just cut out some of the time that I was looking for it. But I am going to put this on Pop Dots so that maybe you can sort of see the fact that I stapled on those paper layers, because I am going to kind of cover them up a little bit. So it's not going to be as noticeable. I did find this little paper clip, and I'm going to stick that there too. It just adds a little bit more metallic in a couple of different places. There's that arrow. I just like that it's pointing up towards my thing, and I'm going to put some enamel dots and a couple of puffy stickers from that Pink Paisley collection. I picked that reddish orange color. I thought it kind of went with some of the other colors. So I have multiple of the different colors from the stripes. The only color that I didn't really pick out was the yellow. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if, I feel like the cupcake, because it has that golden color, that plays off of that and it works. So I am just about done. I am going to stick this one last heart that I cut out from the Vicky Booten paper. I just have a whole bunch of those hearts. I think I just really, in the end, decided to cut up that whole paper. It was perfect. And I get that I covered up some of that metallic, and I'm okay with that. I'm just going to let it go. And so now I'm going to use this Maggie Holmes Alpha and spell cupcake. I really like this. It's a really fun. There are some letters that look a little bit more cursive, and the way that they're made, they're each a little bit different. So you can pair them nicely. I thought about moving that wine down, and I wish that I could have, but the other letters were kind of stuck, and I was afraid that I was going to mess up my photo, and I had already printed it off. But here we go. So I'm just a girl who needs wine and cupcakes. I mean, hey, there could be worse things that you could need, or better things that you could need, but and so I'll make sure I do my journaling later in the little white areas, but don't forget to look in the info box below, because you can follow along with the hop and see everyone else's layouts. I'm sure they're going to be amazing. Thank you guys for dropping by, and I'll see you later. Bye.